So today we have a match. My name is Aurélien Lorange from the Corax Foundation. This is the second match for the two teams. And these two teams, they have been exploring space law. They went everywhere in the space for this. Of course, I'm talking about the books. Concerning, of course, the topic that they received a week ago. And of course, we'll hear them debating on between tax and as well space legislations today. But first, before talking about them, let's announce that, of course, they represent the University of the West Indies in the Caribbean Islands and OP Jindal Global University in India. So they are in the group G, and it is their second match of the group phase. Now, time to hear them introducing themselves. So I would like to give the floor to Rich Bash here in Jindal Law School.
Hi, good evening to you, sir, in the Netherlands, and good morning to my fellow participants across the other side of the globe. I'm just here to have fun. I hope we have a fantastic debate. We had a great first round, and I'm hoping that the second round only exceeds my expectations. So all the best to you guys.
Thank you and welcome. We have as well in Trinidad and Tobago Miss Khalifa Wilkinson. Welcome.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, judges. Good morning to our fellow colleagues as well in the opposing team. We're happy to do this round with you guys, and I hope we can have a very eventful round and a very educational round that we could learn from each other. Really glad to see you all and be here.
Thank you very much. Welcome as well to Vishala Jabbar in India. Oh, sorry, Vish.
Hi.
Yes, my confusion. Yes, I will do it per team. It will be easier this way. So, Miss Jabbar, welcome.
Hi, my name is Vishala. I am a year 3 student at the University of the West Indies, and I'm so excited to be here. And hello to my fellow colleagues at India. I hope that today goes well, and good luck to everyone.
Thank you. And then the third member of the team in Trinidad and Tobago, Adrienne Murray, welcome.
Hi, it'll be afternoon on your ends for both Netherlands and India. My name is Adrienne Murray. I'm a third year student at the University of the West Indies. I'm pleased to meet all of y'all, and I'm happy to do this round with y'all and hope it goes well for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. Then the second member of the team from Jindal Global Law School, Tanish Niraj, welcome.
Well, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon. All the best for the debate. Really excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the third member, Shauni Veta Sulai Nana Sekar.
Hi, everyone. So glad to be here. Hope you have an amazing debate ahead. And thank you so much. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you very much. Welcome. We send greetings, of course, on the side of the University of the West Indies to the two professors who are helping the team, so Dr. Timothy Afonso and Miss Shivanjali Ramutar. And on the side of Global Jindal Global University, to the Jindal International Law Society, who is actually supporting as well the students during the competition. So for this match, there will be 3 judges. We send greetings to the 3 judges who are watching or will be watching the match today and during the next 2 business days. The students have received a topic which is a global taxation system should be implemented to ensure that profits derived from space resource benefit all of humanity. So now we share my screen. It is time to know the allocation of positions. And we'll know live which team will be in favor, which team will be against. The team will be in favor. We'll be starting the match with the first introduction. As you can see, there yes, it took a bit of time. As you can see, there are 2 chances for each institution. One chance to be in favor, one chance to be against the motion. And now I will activate the randomizer. So that will be OP Jindal Global University will be in favor of the motion. As a consequence, and we'll be starting with the first introduction, and as a consequence, the University of the West Indies will be against the motion and will defend the position against. So, to clarify, it means that the University of the West Indies, the OP Jindal Global University will defend the position that a global taxation system should be implemented to ensure that profits derived from space resource benefit all of humanity, while the University of the West Indies will defend the position that a global taxation system should not be implemented to ensure that profits derived from space resource benefit all of humanity. So now, you will have 5 minutes and to review your notes, and then we'll start with the team in favor, so meaning the team from India. So we are done with the 5 minutes of preparation, so I stop sharing my screen. Before we'll start with the introduction from the Indian team, I want to remind everybody that when you will see the yellow card, it means you still have 30 seconds in your speaking time, of course, to finish your sentence, to finish your argumentation. When you will see the red card, it means time is up. You may finish your sentence, but please do not start a new one. Otherwise, the judge, and it's up to the judge, and one of the judges is in the room at this moment. I will send greetings, but just after the match. So many thanks for joining. By the way, Mutemwa, who is currently in Zambia. So yes, red card means that time is up. You may not start a new sentence. So, are you ready in India?
Yes, so we are ready.
Okay, so I give you the floor for 4 minutes for your introduction.
I will be starting at the count of 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, today we stand at the precipice of a new era in human history. An era where space exploration is no longer just the dream of science fiction, but an imminent reality. Today, although private players and wealthy nations race towards extraction of space resources, we stand here affirming Article 1 of the Outer Space Treaty that outer space remains the common heritage of mankind and that we must ensure that these endeavors do not contribute to environmental degradation and that also all parts of humanity and everyone benefits from these space resources equally. In accordance, I, Charmani Veta, along with my teammates Rishabh Iyer and Tanish Neeraj, strongly affirm the motion that a global taxation system should be implemented to ensure that profits derived from space resources benefit all of humanity. We propose a taxation system modeled after the carbon taxation system, which will account for the pollution created by both the manufacturing of space objects on Earth, as well as the launching of space objects, rocket launches, and space operations. This taxation model ensures that no one escapes scot free from their space activities, which bear the responsibility of environmental footprint. Secondly, we propose that the revenue generated from this tax be allocated in two key ways. Firstly, that it will be used to address the issue of space debris, an ever growing concern that threatens future generations of space exploration and the sustainable growth of space exploration. Secondly, we also propose that these funds be directed towards research opportunities in the global south, ensuring that developing nations have an equitable opportunity to participate in space exploration. This ensures that space remains a frontier for all nations to participate in equally. Now, to ensure that the profits do benefit all of humanity, we propose this to combat two key concerns that plague space exploration today. Firstly, the environmental damage caused by space activities both on Earth and in space. The pollution resulting from rocket launches contribute to atmospheric degradation, and the accumulation of space debris poses significant risks to existing satellites as well as future missions. As it stands, international space law has failed to sufficiently address these challenges. Therefore, our model provides a concrete mechanism to hold these actors accountable for the pollution they generate in a manner that is also feasible. Second, there is no debate that there exists a widening disparity between the global north and the global south in terms of access to space and resources. The dominance of a few nations and private entities in space exploration risks creating a monopolized extraterrestrial economy where the wealth derived from space resources only benefit a select few. Our taxation model seeks to bridge this gap by redirecting resources. Our model is the first in international space law and in international law to systematically address the environmental costs of space activities. By acknowledging and taxing pollution, it creates a strong precedent for sustainable space exploration. we reaffirm that space is a resource for all of mankind, and accordingly, we reaffirm that taxation systems should ensure that this benefit is accrued to all of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the introduction on the side of the University of the West Indies. You have 4 minutes.
Hi. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, both.
Okay, I'll begin in 3, 2, 1. Honorable judges, my learned friends will have us believe that global taxation is the solution because resources should be shared by all. However, the solution cannot be global taxation. Milton Friedman rings in my ear. The government solution to a problem is usually as bad as the problem and very often makes the problem worse. It is with that we have 3 reasons why global taxation is not the solution. 1, there's difficulty with the enforcement of a global taxation in unregulated spaces. The lack of suitable organization and the overall legal, economic, and political challenges of such a system. Firstly, the International Seabed Authority has been used to regulate deep sea mining for humanity's benefits. However, there's complications with tax collections and significant enforcement compliance issues. If the sea cannot be regulated because it is an ungoverned space, how can we expect outer space to be enforced? Secondly, a global taxation would be controlled by either a new government or an existing one. Both present an issue. In terms of the new government, we risk corruption, inefficiency, and indecisiveness, as seen in the case of the League of Nations. In terms of an existing corporation, however, international organizations have often disregarded the needs of developing countries, raising concerns of equity and accountability. Examples include Bolivia, when the IMF pressures to lead to water privatization left 400,000 without water. The Paris Agreement insisted that developing countries transition to green energy, however, provided little financial aid for such an outcome. Finally, in the case of Indonesia and the European Union, Indonesia wanted to restrict trade to better their industrial development and bolster the encouragement of foreign investment. However, this approach was rejected by the WTO and they were forced to resume trade. Aside from this, we have overall legal, economic, and political challenges. Legally, countries like the US and Luxembourg have already passed laws that enable private companies to profit from space mining without any binding legal framework for resource distribution. Having a global taxation system in place would contradict these laws and complicate it even more. Politically speaking, the Security Councils have often used their veto powers to bolster their own interests, as seen with the Russian-Ukraine war. Additionally, the US blocked the new appointments to the WTO appellate body, which undermined their ability to mediate disputes. These situations raise concerns as to whether international organizations could withstand the great influence of political powers in space whilst there are challenges on Earth. Finally, the economic challenges that will be faced by private companies, as introducing a global tax could discourage private investments, reduce profitability, and hinder technological progress. Look at the SpaceX and Blue Origin. They help bolster NASA's space exploration adventures. By having a global taxation cost, we risk stopping these investments. Additionally, the Moon Agreement emphasizes that moon resources belong to all of humanity, but it is not widely ratified by spacefaring nations like the US, Russia, making it largely ineffective. In essence, global taxation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear the first rebuttals. So we start with the first rebuttal on the side of the OP Jindal Global University. You have 2 minutes.
Can I just confirm if I'm audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Fantastic. Okay. I will be starting the first rebuttal at the reverse countdown of 3, 2, 1. I would like to re-emphasize what the first speaker, Ms. Charu Niveta, had mentioned. Our proposed global taxation policy is not going to be like the currently existing OECD formulated UN model tax convention, because as we have seen with its elaboration, that the pre-existing global taxation by the OECD has been dramatically weakened by the number of carve-outs and the number of loopholes that pre-exist. Right? The OECD has seen what was supposed to be a Twilian adventure, what was supposed to be a Twilian success, where the global north has only strong armed the global south into listening to its propositions. Right? I would like to re-emphasize the first speaker's point by saying that the carbon tax policy is going to be the crux of our tax model. Our main emphasis is on the pollution caused by the number of rockets, the number of satellites, the number of objects launched from the Earth to outer space. The carbon tax model serves as a as a CBDR principle for the world to come across and unite itself in finding a united front with regards to taxation policies. The global minimum tax generates only a fraction of the tax revenue that can be accepted from the 2021 guidelines, right? And all of this only races for corporations, for multinationals to a race to the bottom, not to the race to the top. Right? If and to rebut the first speaker of my respected colleagues, you might notice that the United Kingdom and the UK have had parliamentary sessions with the United Nations where they've pled for diplomatic pressure upon multiple countries to enforce international regulation in complex processes with a framework very similar to the WTO and the environmental law that all players of the UN Space Treaty and the United Nations have agreed, and the UNFFC, that you will see that there seems to be a conglomerate, consolidated idea of unity that countries seem to want to challenge, that the carbon issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the first rebuttal on the side of the University of the West Indies. You have 2 minutes.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so while I appreciate the points raised by my colleagues, they fail to acknowledge that the systems that are already in place is very problematic. So they fail to realize that the international organizations has sometimes turned a blind eye. As the first speaker said, the taxation should bridge the gaps between inequality, but take into consideration in Bolivia, the privatization of water because of the pressures from the IMF and the World Bank caused more than 400,000 to be left without water for weeks. In Cuba, they were ignored when the US placed an embargo on them, which resulted in a loss of $1.1 trillion in 2015. Additionally, the Paris Agreement, when the developing countries tried to transition to green energy, they were placed in an economic deficit because of the lack of funding. In Indonesia, the attempts were made to promote their industrial development and restrict trade, but this was rejected by the WTO, and they were forced to resume trade without any consideration for their plight as a developing countries. The WTO, they rejected economic conditions in countries like Indonesia, and when they sought to attract the foreign investment to develop their nickel smelting industry and promote industrial trade, their requests were rejected, and Indonesia were told to resume trade without any disregard as a developing country. Therefore, if the space resources were traded and a global taxation system was implemented, the trends have shown that countries are rarely considered, even if the equal treatment, but it would cause skepticism in joining a system. And as my friends say, does it really benefit? Is the global taxation system really benefit as mankind? As the first speaker said, it does not. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear OP Jindal Global University for the second rebuttal. You have 2 minutes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I'll be starting in 3, 2, 1. Panel, first, let's do a quick rebuttals, right? They come and they tell that the Paris Agreement, the global south in the Paris Agreement, they face lesser financial aid. That is the point of providing taxation. That is the point of global taxation regime, to provide this tax, to provide money to the global south. so that the global south can use this money to further their development goals, to further the sustainable growth of their environment. Because like my first speaker already told, the launch of rockets causes environmental degradation. This degradation, to regrowth and to rebuild this degradation, global south countries does not have the money. The current carbon tax system does not tax space or exploration organizations. This is why we need the space exploration, the space law to tax global south, to tax the profits made out of space exploration, so that these profits can go to the benefits of the global south. This profit can be used for the benefits of the research of the global south, right? They come and they provide time after time telling that it is difficult to incorporate cooperation in international law. Panel, it is not. Like my first rebuttal told, it is not difficult to incorporate cooperation when it comes to environmental law. You have seen the amount of signatories in UNFCCC. It is possible to incorporate, a communal feeling towards humanity, towards rebuilding the laws of environment, which amount of space exploration costs. They come and they provide three metrics for the debate. They tell legal, economic, political. Let's pick one. Legal. They tell that the private companies have private companies have authority to explore. The private companies have authority to explore space, right? This is exactly our point. These private companies come, they explore space, they earn profits from it for their own benefit, like Elon Musk, SpaceX. But this profit does not go to sustainable development. This profit goes in their pocket. Whereas when we tax this profit, it goes to regrowth and to rebuild loss of environment. They come and speak of economy, saying that private companies has a risk of stopping investments. Panel, there is no risk of stopping investment when there is a tax.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the second rebuttal on the side of the University of the West Indies. You have as well 2 minutes.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so my friend uses the Paris Agreement to support this to support the motion of a global tax system. However, this will fail because they have failed to consider the legal, the political, and the economic challenges with the system, which will be problematic, as I've said before. So the Outer Space Treaty, it declares that the space is a province of all mankind, but it does not mandate a global tax system. And this was affirmed in the Lotus case between France and Turkey, and in unregulated areas, nations are free to act according to their sovereignty. This is why countries like the US and Luxembourg have already enacted laws permitting to space mining, and they allow private companies to retain profits. So therefore, no legal binding framework will support a mandatory redistribution of these resources. And beyond the legal concerns, the political reality of this makes it unworkable. So historically, the major players in the UN Security Council, such as the US, China, and Russia, they have blocked the economic redistribution efforts that threaten their national interests. Mind you, they did not sign on to the Moon Treaty. And these are big major space wars. And the cooperation has already strained due to the geopolitical tensions as seen in the Russia-Ukraine war. And expecting them to approve a tax for their wealth sharing in space is a pure fantasy. So therefore, if the global regulations face resistance even on Earth due to politics, do we really expect them to comply in the vast ungoverned expanse such as space? And economically, imposing a tax would reduce the profitability and stymie the progress of companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin. And just remember that space is a high-risk, high-cost industry requiring billions of investment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we are moving to the conclusions. We hear first the conclusion from the team from OP Jindal Global University. You have 2 minutes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So to conclude the entire debate, side proposition proposes one thing, that these companies which do space exploration, these companies that do space exploration are not poor. They are rich. They have the money to pay the taxes. B, the side opposition lives in the current paradigm, but what we are proposing is for the future. We are telling the future of space law should be taxed. They tell that the space industry is a high risk, high reward, but it's also highly degrading to the environment. It causes high harms, and this high harms has to be rebuilt for. We are living in a world today that the global south faces the consequences of the actions of the global north. And as mentioned by their own side, the global north has no current mechanism to rebuild because escape because they don't pay any money. The biggest concern for both the sides, the biggest point both sides agreed upon is that the global south does not have money. They have economic depreciation. That is what a tax paradigm would build. That is exactly what a tax paradigm would do. It gives the global south the money. It gives the global south the money to build back their environment. It gives the global south the money to research and go equal footing to the global north. This is the exact point of a tax system, right? They come and they mention the economic, political, legal. Well, panel, we take them on in all three of this because they only keep the money with the rich. They tell that it's high risk, high reward, but also causes high harm, but very casually ignore the high harm. Here, side proposition is telling that the world requires taxation, and these companies like SpaceX, NASA are rich enough to pay certain amount of tax for the environment building. They also come and tell that politically, UNSC has used veto powers before the in Russia, Ukraine. Panel, this is a taxation method where we tell that in under WTO's organization, tax will be paid. It will be paid because both the companies make profit here, and also there is a significant and calculatable carbon footprint given out during space exploration. This will be taxed, and this tax will benefit all sustainable development group. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we hear as well the conclusion on the side of the University of the West Indies. For your conclusion, you have 2 minutes as well.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Honorable judges and esteemed colleagues, former US President John F. Kennedy once said, "The great enemy of the truth is very often not the lie, deliberate, contrived, and dishonest, but the myth, persistent, persuasive, and unrealistic." And the idea of a global taxation system for space resources is precisely such a myth. A vision that appears just and equitable but crumbles under legal, political, and economic scrutiny and realities. My team and I have demonstrated that 1, there is a difficulty in collecting and enforcing global taxation in ungoverned areas. And if even the ISA has failed to regulate its oceans, how can we expect a global body to control taxation in the vast and lawless expanse of space? 2, there is a lack of a suitable organization to govern the taxation system, making most states skeptical. And understandably so, because currently there is no existing institution that has the trust or capability to ensure fair distribution. And history proves that international bodies prioritize powerful nations over developing ones. 3, there are legal, political, and economic challenges to be considered. The Outer Space Treaty does not mandate taxation. Spacefaring nations refuse to ratify the Moon Agreement, and global powers will never willingly surrender control. Meanwhile, such a system would crush private investment and slow technological progress. For decades, developing nations have been promised equality, yet the reality has been economic exploitation, broken treaties, and aid cuts when it is most needed. If powerful nations refuse to support struggling economies on Earth, why should we believe that they will suddenly embrace fairness when it comes to space? A global taxation system will not create equity. It will entrench geopolitical control and economic dominance. If we want truly a fair future in space, we must look beyond delusions and face the harsh truth. Regulation must be built on reality, not a myth of cooperation that has failed us time and time again. The stars belong to all of us, but a global tax ensures they remain in the hands of the few. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we just heard the 2 conclusions, so from now you are not under evaluation by the judge. So you can rest, you can relax, you can come back in front of the camera. And I will as well enjoy the moment to greet one of the judges who is in the room, who arrived before the start of the argumentations. So many thanks for joining. I don't know if you can hear me in Zambia.
Hello? Hi, yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll ask first the impression of the 2 teams, their impression on this match, I mean. And if you can share, of course, your first impression, because you will have time to assess with the grading rubrics the 2 teams, that would be very helpful, but that will be just after I ask now the students their impression. I would like to ask Miss Wilkinson, what do you think about the match, the topic, and the performance of the 2 teams?
I think the topic was pretty interesting. So it's very unique and very interesting to research. At first, it was a little, like condensing it to focus on the main arguments, like fleshing out those arguments. That took a little time, but it was still nonetheless educational, it was informative, and we did learn a lot. And the second question he asked was the performance of the teams. I think the performance was really well, so congratulations. I think you guys did a great job. Thank you for your contribution to the debate today. We appreciate it. And good luck on your next rounds as well.
Thank you. Mr. Hishbash here.
Hi. So, before I would say anything, I think I'd want to extend my hearty congratulations to side opposition, because I think they conveyed what they had to say, structurally very sound. It was very informative. It rallied with what we had prepared almost very perfectly. I saw that there was no overlapping. Everything was very seamlessly talked about, and I thank them for actually engaging in constructive debate, in engaging with our points in such a way that we could rebut, we could bounce off of each other, and actually make one big consolidated sense of where this debate is supposed to go. I think all of us over here, in the 6 days of prep time that we had, we actually enjoyed discussing whether a global taxation system should or should not be implemented, and what would be the repercussions and slash or outcomes of the same. So this was extremely fun, and I only extend my well wishes to the team for their third and further rounds. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Miss Vishala Jabbar, what do you think of the match?
Hi, so the topic was very new to me. It helped me learn a lot about space and taxes. And my team, they did an excellent job. They researched well. They were very put together. I mean, the podium and everything speaks for itself. And I just want to say that all the best to you guys. And I hope that you guys stick together as a team and you guys do well in the other competitions as well.
Thank you very much. Tanish Niraj, what do you think of the match?
I'm audible?
Yes?
Yeah. It was a wonderful debate. Both teams had interesting points. It was interesting clashes. And yeah, both teams job well done. I congratulate both the teams, my speakers as well as their speakers, for presenting a wonderful case.
Thank you very much. Adrienne Murray, what do you think of the match?
I thought the match was very interesting. I appreciated the rebuttals, the constant keeping us on our toes. It really showed the vast amount of research that both teams have done and contributed to having such an outstanding debate.
Thank you very much. And of course, Miss Yana Sekar.
Yeah, I think I second what both my other speakers said. It was an extremely fun match and an even more fun proposition to work on. I think I especially had never really explored space law so deeply, and I was quite fascinating of a new subject area to explore. I also want to thank our society coordinators who also took our time to be here, my co-speakers, and the other team which engaged with the debate so well. Thank you so much. It was actually fun to have ideas bounce off of each other and to have a constructive debate, and now to hopefully have a holistic idea of how we view the motion before us. So thank you so much to everyone.
Thank you very much. And I would like to give the floor now to one of the three judges, Inonji Mutenwa. Can you tell us your first impression, maybe from what you heard?
Hello everybody. Good job to everyone. I'll give my general comments for you all, I guess, overall. I think you did a good job researching. Yeah, this was a really interesting topic. I can only imagine the amount of information you may have found. So just a few comments. I would say I think try and focus on shorter, stronger arguments rather than lengthier ones, right? Because you end up finding that you're running out of a little bit of time, and so that's going to negatively affect you. I think it's always good to make sure you have authority for the assertions that you're bringing out, right? So if you say something is a bit problematic, at least give a bit of a source or a background as to where you're getting that assertion from, right? I think that makes your argument stronger and adds more credibility. But overall, you were all very clear. I loved it. It was a good argument. Yeah, good job.
Thank you very much. So that was a judge from the University of Lusaka, who is in Zambia. So many thanks for this advice as well. The two other judges will be assessing as well the match, watching of course the recording on YouTube. Maybe they're watching at this moment. One is in Italy and one is in Nigeria. So these are the two other judges. Now we are moving to the very last part of the session, the networking part. So I would like to ask each team two questions. The first question is, did you watch any other match from other teams for this competition or previous competitions? Did you even speak to former participants? Because in the two, I would say, institutions, I guess you heard maybe about this competition in general. But what I mean is that, yes, do you get inspired from the style from other teams? Did you try to see how it is going actually with the other universities participating? And the second question, which is a bit different, is if you think about some persons you would like to thank for their support during the competition, the support for you, for your team, I mean family, friends, student association, professors, for example. Yeah, would you like to name them and to thank them live, of course, during this live stream? So I would like to start with the team in India for Jindal Global University. Have you watched and you want to thank anybody?
Right. So on the first question, we had watched after our first match. We kind of realized that we are very new to this format, and we looked into a couple of other matches that were in this edition and as well as the previous editions, to kind of get a better understanding of what is expected of us. And I think we were able to translate that into our match today. At least 50%, I would hope. So yeah, we did look into that. Speaking to past participants, we are the first team from our university to participate in this debate. And on that front, we were not able to communicate with many of the other past participants. However, I do not think that deterred our participation one bit, because I think there is a lot to learn from our co-participants during the debate, as well as the other participants in the league as well. So I think we explored those opportunities quite well, and we hope to continue making friends along this process and learning more. Yeah.
On to the second question. I think there are quite a few characters that I would actually like to thank, but from the top, I think, and this is almost hierarchical in a way, but I think I would extend my heartiest thank you to our Vice President of the Jindal Society of International Law, Kamakshi Belwal, who's actually sitting in front of us beyond this camera, who's showed her time and support even during her assessment internships to go beyond her way to actually help us stand where we are today. I would also like to thank Namrata Ranganathan, who actually helped us in our first round. I would like to sincerely thank my fellow two teammates for putting up with my many idiosyncrasies. And I would like to thank the expert judge panel for also catering to all of our eccentricities. So thank you. And there's actually also a fourth player that I would actually like to thank, and that's a good friend of mine. His name is Angad, and I hope he's watching us on YouTube right now. But heartiest thank you to you two for actually breaking down the very norms and definitions of space and taxation law to us. So thank you so much, and a very good evening and good day to all of you.
Thank you, and we can see indeed, I think your president because we see from your image, she's sitting in front of your desk. So yeah, we see on the camera. So thank you very much. And same question as well for the team in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay. In terms of if we watched any matches, we actually did. And we didn't just watch matches from this year, we watched it from last year as well. Because initially we felt very unprepared in the sense that we didn't know what to expect, how it would be on a virtual setting. Because, of course, this is such a new thing that COVID has introduced, this kind of platform. So we watched how our past colleagues in the university had their competitions We kept abreast of all the competitions that had came before us to better get an understanding, familiarize ourselves with the setting, see how people rebuttal, see how people handle under pressure, and try to mimic that. And in terms of support, we did get support because our past colleagues sent us links. They showed us out their submissions and whatnot, so we were able to better format it in the way that is appropriate for such a debate. Thank you.
With regards to thanks, first and foremost, we just really have to give a special thanks to Ms. Ramata and Dr. Afonso, who are our coaches. Listen, they spend so many time like going through the work with us, like guiding us, being patient with us. And we know everybody has like their own busy lives, but they still take a lot of time to guide us. So grateful to them. Grateful to you guys for having this mooting debate as well, because it not only helps you to grow and refine your researching skills, but it also caused us to form like a deeper bond. So really glad for that, because we didn't really used to talk that much before, but coming into this, I'd say like we're closer friends now. And then we also like to thank our university and the Faculty of Law for, being here for us, providing things for us that we would need to participate in the moot, and for also just making time for us to do it as well. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. So that was the second match, and in 2 weeks you will have a third match, indeed, against the team in this group of 4 universities you didn't have match with yet, and that will be on trade law, international trade law. You will get the topic, of course, a week in advance, and you will have plenty of time to consult, indeed, the experts and friends and professors, and of course a lot of books and internet in order to prepare those topics. We thank again the 3 judges for their time for assessing this match. And finally, we advise you, of course, to keep contact between the 2 teams. First, because yes, you can invite each other to maybe have some sessions. If you need an expert for an event, for example, speaking from India, then you can invite maybe indeed your colleagues in India. Same for the Caribbean Islands, because again, that can help indeed to encourage to have more connections and exchange. And even if you are 40,000 kilometers apart, because I checked, still, I mean, it's a way through the competition to make friends and to discuss as well online for indeed about this competition, or after the competition on other topics for your career. I mean, you will be lawyers and will be working in legal departments, maybe in space law, you never know, in space agency around the world. So again, many thanks for this match. That was really, really interesting. Many thanks for the judge as well. We'll be watching and maybe re-watching the match to finalize their grading. And you will receive by email, of course, these results, the grading rubrics to prepare for the next match. But as well, we will send you, as well as I said, an email with the information about if you want to come for the finals as a visitor, but maybe participants to the final as well. So we'll send you some information during the weekend by email with the discount. As I said, one of your team in Trinidad and Tobago came 2 years ago, I think, and they had a tour, they went to the Peace Palace, etc. So yes, that is an opportunity. So we share with you this by email during the weekend. So many thanks again, wish you the best for the rest of your evening in India and the rest of the day, I mean, because it's still the morning in Caribbean Islands. And many thanks as well in Zambia, and have a good afternoon to Professor Mutenwa, and we keep in touch, of course, for the rest of the group phase. Thank you very much. Thank you, greetings over there.
Thank you, have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, thank you.